up, everybody? You're back with Text My Ex. I'm Esmarie. I know that some of you want to steer clear of alcohol, and I am totally in support of that. I'm on my own journey as well. So I wanted to incorporate some fun mocktails, and what better way to start than through the holidays, right? We know Christmas is right around the corner. I found a perfect Christmas mocktail that's called the Grinch. Super easy, super cute. If you're at a family get together and you want to look like you have a little fun cocktail like everybody else, this is the perfect one for you. And what's great about this one is that you have options, because all you need to do is focus on getting that little green color to make it look like the Grinch, right? So you're definitely going to need the pineapple juice. I'm going to tell you why this is optional later, some grenadine, but as far as what gives you the blue to make that green come together, you could do a light blue Powerade. You could do a little bit of like a light blue Gatorade. I have the mix on hand that I'm going to mix with some water. Or you could do some blue Curacao. Either way, it makes it easy. You need a little bit of lime juice, and then if you want to rim the glass, you can do a little bit of red sugar or sprinkles, just to give it that little holiday color. I got my shaker with ice. I'm gonna do a little bit of the pineapple juice, about 1.5 to 2 ounces. Now, if you want it to have a little bit of tang to it, that's when you're gonna do a splash of the lime, right? But this is not required. And then like I said, you can do blue curacao, but for me, I wanted to actually do some of the Gatorade mix that I have. I'm gonna do 1 scoop. Shake that up, add a little bit of that. I'm gonna shake it. In order to rim your glass, you can either use simple syrup or a little bit of lime juice on a plate. Take your glass, rim it, and then dip it right into the sugar. There you go, strain. As you can see, it's got that pretty green color. Now, if you want to add a little bit of sweetness to it, that's where the grenadine comes in. And all you're gonna do is slowly drip it down the side. And as you can see, red and green, got a Christmas color. Let's try it. That's really good. It's really refreshing. Oh, by the way, don't mind my cut up fingers. I was over here trying to make some mac and cheese the other day, and that cheese grater got me twice. So yeah, simple, easy, and who don't like the Grinch? Let's get to our next episode. All right, so let's see what advice I can give today. I need advice. I'm having a little debate. I get into his car and there's 2 hair ties thrown on the floor. Clearly not mine based on the color. Do you think that these women left it to mark their territory or to warn other women? Number 1, I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. I don't think it matters. You found 2 hair ties in the car that were not yours. Who cares if they left it to mark their territory or not? The problem is there was other women in the car. I don't know what kind of level y'all are on, but if he's your man, he don't need to be your man no more. And if y'all are just talking, then he's just being clearly irresponsible and not even, if you're going to see multiple people and have a roster, at least clean up after yourself. And make sure that it's not completely obvious. That'd be like me going to some dude's house and seeing some other bitch's earrings on the bathroom counter. The fuck? Put that shit away. So I don't even think it matters, to be quite honest. What you should be focused on is not fucking with him no more, or figuring out what are y'all doing? Because clearly, if you asking about it, that means that you have a problem. That means that you must think that y'all to a certain level where that's not supposed to be happening. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. He wouldn't be talking to me no more, I can tell you that. And he better go be with them. Some guy asked to go to Waffle House for the first date. No hate, but also would prefer something a little nicer. How would I even respond, or am I being a snob? Yeah, I'm gonna have to say you being kind of a snob. I'm a firm believer, I've said this on past episodes, I am a firm believer that a man does not need to spend hundreds of dollars on you on the first date. He doesn't need to prove himself financially because he doesn't even know you. You could be a psychopath and he's supposed to spend $300 to $500 on you, or, whatever you think he's supposed to do. I'm not saying that a man should take you to McDonald's, but I'll go for a simple coffee date. Sorry, you could spend like 15 bucks on me. It's about the connection. It's about getting to know each other. If you really are about finding a real, genuine connection, you shouldn't care. And personally, I like Waffle House. Now, if you don't like that specific breakfast spot, but maybe you want to go to a different breakfast spot, then okay, like say that. But yeah, you do kind of sound like a snob. If you are what they call bougie, or if you feel as though women like me, it's like, okay, I don't care what you have to say. I want someone to take me to a nicer spot, spend more money on me on the first date, and that's your prerogative. Then I guess the way that you could respond without sounding like a snob and see what he says is, I'm not really a breakfast person. Could we choose something else? And then see where he wants to take you. Maybe he'll take the hint in that sense, or maybe he'll be like, okay, and then he's gonna pick just as equal of a spot that's lunch and dinner. So everybody remembers that whole Cheesecake Factory debacle on social media, and I think Cheesecake Factory is just fine. I think that there's a difference between expecting a man to court you and to do that to initially set a good first impression versus somebody who you just expect to wine and dine you when they don't even know you. Shouldn't be worried about any of things that have to do with finances. You should be worried about him truly wanting to get to know you and treat you with respect. That's all I'm going to say about that one. All right. Is it okay to share your past outrageous sexual experiences with the current person that you're with? So there's two things, right? One, it depends on, are you just saying, is it okay, meaning like it's okay for me to ask and he should be able to ask and we should be able to openly talk about it if we're curious? Or are you saying like, is it inappropriate for me to talk about those things with the new person that I'm talking to? So let's just talk about that first, right? So, okay, is it appropriate to be sharing that kind of thing? I think that it kind of just depends on the person. What's understood don't need to be explained, right? We all know that everybody has a past. We all know that there was people before me, people before you. It's common sense, right? But do I want to hear about it? Do I want to picture it? Do I want to think about it? You know what I'm saying? So some people are very like, yo, I care about you. I know you have a past. I don't care to hear about it. I want to pretend like, you know what I'm saying? Ignorance is bliss. And I, in my mind, I've only had you. And I know it sounds crazy, but people think like that. And that's okay. But then you have people on the other end who are like, they don't get bothered by that kind of stuff. And they're like, they think it's funny to talk about past experiences and, almost to get to know you better on that sort of level, to know what you're into and not into, to know what you're willing to try and not willing to try, to know if there's any things that you want to do that you haven't done. Now, when it comes to the other side of things, talking about like, should it be okay? Should it be an obligation to talk about those things? Is that something that you feel a long-term partner, depending on how serious you are with the person, deserves to know about you? Because, there's certain things that maybe you're not proud of, but if your partner asks, do you need to tell them? Do you need to be open? Or is it something that just needs to be left in the past, right? I do firmly believe, to a certain extent, you shouldn't have to explain yourself. As long as it didn't have any long-term effects, right? There are some things that I think that you should be able to keep private. It isn't nobody's business. But I think it's healthy sometimes to discuss certain things, as long as, there's a mutual respect of, hey, if we're going to have these tough conversations, it has to be a judgment-free zone. You met who I am today. You didn't meet who I was then. You don't know who I was then. You don't know what the reasons were behind why I did said things back then, or what made me want to go a certain route and then change, so as long as it's a judgment-free zone, it's like, okay, we can have these tough conversations, because at the end of the day, we fell for each other now, and now we need to just be focused on the future, right? So that's my take on it. I don't know exactly what you were meaning, but hopefully I covered everything. What to think? Went on 2 dates with a guy. He disappeared for a month. Then we went on another date, and he asks, how many dates until you're my girlfriend? He came on strong on the initial date as well, showered me with gifts, kept touching me on the third date, to which annoyed me as well. Should I continue? Me personally, that sounds a lot like love bombing. Now, some people know what they want. Some people are ready to just dive all in. That's okay. But you still have to move at a realistic pace, right? So that would kind of steer me away right away. And then on top of that, it kind of sounds like when you say like kept touching on me at the third date, it kind of sounds like they didn't even ask about your boundaries, which is another thing that you're supposed to discuss before you even, I mean, yes, some people feel the vibe, but if you were clearly annoyed, I feel like you was giving off vibes that that's not something that you're into. And the fact that he like disappeared for a month, again, it screams love bombing, immaturity. I would, love bombing is a big part of narcissism. So I don't even think I think this is a no-brainer that this is red flag after red flag after red flag. And showering you with gifts don't mean shit. That's just, okay, you trying to buy my love. Like, so yeah. I think that you should cut him loose. I got a question. I need some advice. I met up with a guy last night for the first time, only been talking for a week. We seem to want the same thing as far as a relationship, but after hanging out for like maybe 2 hours, he wanted to walk, hold my hand, already planning for me to go somewhere next month. Is this weird to you? I haven't dated him forever, so I don't know if it's just me. That honestly piggyback off the last question. Again, moving way too fast. Like, I get it. If you really like someone and you're really into someone and you're just like, you want to feel all the feels and whatever, that's fine. But you have to move at a realistic pace. Like, yes, okay, the whole life's too short, blah, 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 blah. Hell, I know people that got married after 2 weeks and they've been married for years, okay? I also know a couple who got married after a month of knowing each other. Boom, they've been together for like 15 years. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but it's just not normal. So I would just express to this person, listen, I am super appreciative that you're so like into me, right? This quickly. I think we have a great connection. But planning a trip to go somewhere, I think, is a little bit too soon. And you can say it in a soft way, a funny way, like, a cute way, not a way that makes him feel uncomfortable if his intentions are genuine. But again, somebody's got to tell him. Somebody's got to have the balls to say something like, hey, yo, you're moving a little bit too fast with these ladies. And maybe that's why you're still single, is because you're either scaring them off or your intentions are not pure. Not saying he's a bad guy. He very well might be a good guy. I think that's a little bit too fast. At least for my taste. I wouldn't. I'd be telling them, hey, yo, I need you to pipe the fuck down. Let's take baby steps. It just reminds me of like high school, early college. All right, so my BF is invited to one of his guy friends' bachelor parties next month. Our relationship has been rocky, a lot of arguments and trust issues the past few months. So no, I don't trust him going. I think that we all know what happens at a bachelor party. Am I in the wrong? Okay, so I understand that you might have trust issues, but I think we all can agree that when trust is gone in the relationship, a lot of times those relationships don't work out. Trust is one of the easiest things to break and hardest things to earn. So that right there, I mean, that's something that y'all really would have to work on to even make this relationship work, regardless if he goes to this bachelor party or not. Now, granted, I don't know what caused you to have the trust issues to begin with. If he has done things inappropriate in the past with females, that's why you have trust issues, like while y'all have been together, then okay, maybe he needs to understand that, when you cause there to be issues in this relationship because of your actions, this is the consequences. Out of respect for me, you ain't going to this bachelor party. Like, and if he cares about the relationship and he realizes that, then he should try to do what he can to reassure you, whether that means go or not. He might have to miss out on this time. But, big but. I will say that bachelor parties are not something that come often, right? Like a wedding is a big thing for both parties, men and women. And I think that society kind of makes it to where the wedding is only supposed to be like a special time for the woman because, every girl dreams of getting married and, they want the fairy tale situation. But, it's a special moment for the man as well. And some men who have good intentions really just want to enjoy their bachelor party. They're not there to do anything inappropriate. They're not there to cheat. If he wants to cheat on you, he does not need a bachelor party to do that. I personally think that he should still go. Again, I don't know what's happened in your relationship in the past, but if he chooses to do something else that's inappropriate, then you shouldn't be with him anyway, and you're going to find out regardless, and then you can go ahead and leave the situation. I think that these memories are something that guys look forward to, same with girls with their bachelorette parties. You know, this is a big moment for whoever it is that's getting married, and he wants his friend to be there and share that experience with him. And not every single bachelor party is crazy stuff going on. And again, this is my personal opinion, kind of putting in just a little side note. I don't really mind if there's, you know, dancers or whatever. It's the fun little last aesthetic. You know what I mean? Like, it can all be good fun. You know, everybody has a problem with women dancers at a male bachelor party. But like, there's male dancers at bachelorette parties too. And you don't ever hear nobody talking about that, right? And everyone just assumes that, oh, well, that's different, you know? And it's like, no, it's really not. That man has the same opportunity to mess around with one of y'all women as the female dancers do. So it's all about, you know, just knowing that your partner is not going to put you in a position to jeopardize what y'all have. And if this is going to cause like that big of an issue in y'all's relationship, then there was stuff before that y'all needed to separate anyway, before this even happened. So yeah. So my boyfriend's little brother was saying how he knows this girl who is super nice and had an abusive BF for years. She's now dating someone new who is also mistreating her. So my boyfriend's little brother said, man, I would treat her like a queen. And my boyfriend said, and she wouldn't like you nor appreciate you. Women like her enjoy being mistreated, unfortunately. And that just rubbed me the wrong way. His little brother, who's 27, is such a nice guy, and I would hate to see him turn into a mean person. Anyway, am I wrong for being turned off at what my boyfriend said, even though he's honestly never mistreated me? Yeah, that's something that would definitely rub me the wrong way. As someone who has been in DV relationships twice, it's appropriate for you to be upset, but it's also an education type of moment. Nobody likes to be mistreated. There are certain things that people are into where maybe some of that stuff is going on, but that's a certain world where there's consent and things of that nature. So when it comes to just everyday situations, certain people don't like to be treated that way, and that is not why people stay in those relationships or tolerate that same behavior from multiple partners. It's because they have whatever traumas that they've dealt with. They have lack of confidence. They have a bunch of internal deep-rooted issues, and they need to heal on their own. They need to grow. They need to go to therapy. They need to figure out what is causing them to continue to allow that sort of treatment. There's a lot of people who are what we call healers, or who want to fix the broken wing. And so they see the best in people so much that they're willing to tolerate such poor treatment, because they feel like if I just try harder and I love harder and do all these things, maybe they'll change, maybe they'll realize, and maybe they'll treat me right one day. There's a whole lot of psychological and emotional issues that go into that entire dynamic when it comes to DV with the victim and the abuser. So I definitely think that was a very ignorant statement, and it's sad because you don't want his little brother thinking that that's normal or that that's okay to have that mentality. Mature, grown, emotionally intelligent men know that that's not true. And so, yeah, I think that this could be like an educating moment where you need to sit him down and just have like a very open and honest discussion, because clearly he is not familiar or experienced at all. I would definitely look at my man sideways if he ever said some shit like that. And if he tried to argue with me, it would definitely turn into a full-blown debate. So, yeah. All right. So I think this will be the last one that I do for this episode. I just want to know if I'm overthinking this. If a girl is texting a man at 2:30 a.m., is that girl a friend? Recently peeped the person that I'm seeing getting a text from another girl at 2:30 in the morning and confronted him about it, to which he said that she's a friend. She's also had a contact pic, which I thought was weird. I'm trying not to assume, but I just find it weird. Want some outside input. I have a best friend, a male best friend that I've known since second grade. Okay. I have another male best friend that I've known for almost 10 years. And then I have another two best friends that are male best friends that I've known for a couple years apiece. Out of all of those, I would say only 2 of them would hit me up at that hour, and 1 would not hit up my phone. He would hit up my Instagram because it'd be something about like a funny reel or something like that, knowing that it's not important enough to call me or text me while I'm sleeping, and God forbid next to my partner. That would give my partner the inclination to think that it's something inappropriate. The other best friend, him himself might be out partying or whatever and send me something funny any hour of the night. He's just very unpredictable. But, so I'm not saying again it's impossible, but I think it really just depends on how your partner responds when you address the issue. Do they reassure you? Do they, call the person in front of you? Do they address the person and said, hey, listen, I understand that you hit me up to tell me random things or get a hold of me if you're in a rut sometimes, but out of respect for my partner, I need you to either 1, hit me up as a last resort, or 2, don't do that anymore. A good friend is going to be understanding. Now, if it's an emergency situation, I think that's kind of like just a maturity thing. Don't let it get to you. But also, you did say you were seeing them. Seeing them and dating are 2 different things. If you're just seeing someone and you're getting to know them and you guys are spending the night together occasionally, I hate to say it, but that's really not your business. Until you guys get to a committed level, sorry, sis, but like, if he has a roster, that's not your business. The only thing that you can control is the access that you allow him to have of you. And again, if it's not a commitment, then that's up to you whether or not you want to bring that up. But now, if you do bring it up and he gets very defensive and starts to be disrespectful, then you kind of can put 2 and 2 together that, okay, yeah, this is somebody that's definitely more than a friend. You just gotta move accordingly. But it's not uncommon for a guy to have friends of the opposite sex. There just has to be boundaries out of respect for your partner. Keyword partner. So it kind of just depends on what level you guys are at. If I was dating someone, I would let my friends know. I would be like, hey, just out of respect, I don't want to give him any inclination that anything is going on, so I need you to respect that. So yeah, but that's all I have to say about that. And I think that's it for this episode, but I hope you enjoyed and come back for part 2. Have a good night.